Hello and welcome to another edition of Points of Interest. I'm Gary.
I'm Brad, B-Rad.
And we've got a great show, including an interview with our good friend Stan Johnson from Stafford and his Mini Whoop group. So we got that coming up. So let's get this show in the air. Exploring the people, places, and technology in the growing drone industry. This is the Points of Interest Dronecast. Hey, let's start today's Points of Interest show with an interview with Stan Johnson and their Mini Whoop group that they get together up in Stafford, Virginia, just north of Richmond. A great group of guys. We'll meet Corey, Chris, and of course, owner Stan. All right, we're here with Stan Johnson, and Stan, thank you for having us today.
Well, thanks for coming out. I enjoyed your event. Was it last week?
Last week.
That was terrific, and appreciate you letting me tell you about ours and coming up here and join us.
Yeah, this is a really cool spot, and you own this space?
Yes, sir. We started up, 2014. It's been about a little over 10 years.
Wow. And tell me about the beer.
There's a lot of it here. We've got about 30 different ones on tap. When we started, I think we had 4, maybe 5 that we started with, and then bit by bit, I'll tell you, my partners pushed me more than anything else on getting those extra beers in. But these days we've got 30 some beers on tap. Wow.
Well, this is such a cool event. First of all, tell me, what was the idea to do it here inside the brewery?
Well, it's winter. I meet with a group of people up here, some great FPV pilots, and we'll show up at parks and other areas, bandos and that kind of stuff to fly pretty regularly. But here it is wintertime, and it's been a bit too cold to just go out to those places. So
sure.
Now we do some whoops in here. Gives us an opportunity to test things out, improve our skills, and prep ourselves for the bigger drones later on.
When we can get outside again, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so tell me, what came first, the beer or the drones?
Absolutely the beer. I started brewing back in 1990, and I started drinking long before then. But
We won't tell. Well, so then how long have you been with the drones? And you obviously didn't start with the whoops, the mini whoops, right?
No, it's been about almost 3 years now, maybe a little bit more. But my son got me into it. He said, "Dad, I want to do some drones." And I said, "Great, let's get a kit and put them together."
Right.
And I got a kit and put it together, and he didn't. And but then eventually he did get one, and we put it together, and it started there. It's all with FPV. It's all wrecking. Just put it together, wreck, fix.
And go back
out and do it over and over again.
Repeat, right?
Yeah. So.
They make that T-shirt for a reason, obviously, right?
Question.
Yeah. So tell me, first of all, what kind of drone are you flying?
I have most of mine are QAV frames. I use Speedy B stacks for the flight controller and the ESC. The video VTX would be the tank. Most of them are the tank. I just got my first DJI 03 set up, so that was an amazing transition.
Sure.
The distance I can go and the clarity is incredible.
Yeah, it's like looking out a clear windshield.
Absolutely. But all of mine would be, I guess, defined as Franken drones. They're all DIY. From home.
Did you ever fly the old school DJI stuff? Did you ever have a Phantom or any of those Mavics?
No, never. I always looked at it and said that's just too much money to just start on something.
Sure.
But these ones, they cost just as much. They penny nickel and dime you.
Well, you mentioned earlier you have a son and you're doing this. I have found a lot of people more our age are into drones. Have you seen that a lot?
Clearly, at the events we go to, I've been down to Georgia, South Carolina, a few different events, and they're always filled with, honestly, us old screwballs.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, other than we can kind of sit with it in our hands and make things happen that we can't do with our bodies anymore, right?
True. We've also these days we've got a little more money than we had when we were in our 20s.
That's true, and it takes a little bit of money to do these things. So when do you do this just during the winter time, or are you going to run this through the summer?
We'll continue to do it in the summer. We'll probably expand to RC cars out front. We'll race them up and down, and plus we'll do the 5-inch drones up and around here.
That's very cool.
There's an airport nearby, so we have to watch out. They don't have an ATC, so we can get approval, but you have to have somebody watching and for the planes. They come in and practice landings pretty often.
Makes perfect sense. So tell me a little bit about your 3D printing stuff. I was looking at some of the stuff you've done here. Tell me about the numbers setup that you've done.
After the last event I was at, we had some trouble figuring out when and how to plug in and that kind of stuff. So I've been just trying to think of a system. There should be options out there. I went out and searched and said, what are they doing for the racing stuff? Right. And a lot of them are doing automatic electronic stuff and that kind of stuff. But just a simple old school printing off some numbers and using the race channels. And so if you come in and take 6, you're on channel 6, and we can see it over there. We know who's flying 6, and when you're done with it, you can put it back and somebody else can grab it. So
I don't know a lot about the FPV. So how many channels do you have available?
There's of course a ton, but there's an accepted set of channels that you can use. We're on race 1 through 8 that are separated far enough where generally you're not going to step on each other.
Right.
Our danger points are when you plug in. That's you may not know what channel you were on last time, and so you've got those. Our biggest challenge, in addition to just plain old managing what we know in analog, is digital has come along. And with DJI, a lot of people don't think about it. You're not thinking about those channels, you're just using what comes with the drone, and it's automatic.
Do they pair themselves like a normal, like most drones, it has its own paired setup when you turn them on?
The DJI, you still have to pair that with the device, but when it starts up, it's automatically in a dynamic mode. Okay. So it's flipping through channels. So if we're doing an event, kind of informing people and going, hey, get off auto, switch down, change your rate, so that you can get down to 1, 2, or 3 channels. Gotcha. and manually choose it, and that way we can share the waves while we're doing those events.
In the world of FPV, what would be like a kind of a maximum number of good FPV guys together before it becomes a hairy situation?
I think you can get a lot. You can get. I've seen great events where there are 30, 50, 100 people. The important part is the line is generally limited to 4 people. Allows us to separate those channels even more. Race you can generally do well with 1 through 8, but if you're using higher wattage, then you've got to separate them further and narrow it down to 4 people.
That's some good information. Now, with the event here, do you ever do any kind of time racing? I noticed that I was talking to Chris. He said he's got a counter system on the drones that they're counting laps. Do you guys ever make it a formal racing here?
No formal race yet. We've been the last 2 times we've had his lap counter. He just finished building it. It's working well, but we're idiots with the whoops right now. We're getting through the course, doing it well, and we can maybe get through it in maybe a minute and a half, which is a long time. But eventually we'll get there.
Well, it looked great to me. It looks like a lot of fun. I really appreciate you having us. And tell the people out there, how to get in touch with you and to get here if you want to invite more people.
Well, we'll be pushing out our notices for events that are happening from the drone perspective out at the brewery. But checking us out at adventurebrewing.com or on Facebook at Adventure Brewing. We always notify what the events are. You can hit me up anytime. I'm Stan at adventurebrewing.com. And I'm on Discord. Hit me up there, and we'll hook you up on Discord. That's where everything happens in terms of organization for these events.
That's very good. Good to know. Hey, listen, thanks for having us. This is absolutely the most cool thing ever. Flying in a brewery. Whoever thought of that? I guess you did. But thanks. I will see you in a couple of weeks somewhere.
Cheers. Thanks, Gary.
All All right, so we're back right now, and what'd you think of the interview with Stan? Cool group,
That
huh?
was pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try to get up there and see that myself. That looks like a pretty cool time. Whenever there's beer and drone flying involved, now that's kind of frowned upon, but it was in a closed setting. It's a private setting,
and they did the droning before they did the beer. So
that's right,
and it was some great beer too. I really had a good time talking with Stan. We're gonna go back up there too at some point. And what we didn't mention is that during the summertime, he does some stuff outside the parking lot right next door. And he also does the cars.
Oh, very
RC
cool.
cars, and they got the cameras on those.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
So you played a little bit with the RC cars.
Yeah, RC cars, 30 years ago, and didn't have cameras back then. I really kind of got interested in that again.
And another cool thing, we're going to talk today a little bit about your 3D stuff, but Chris, who's in this video too, is a big 3D guy too, and he did some cool stuff. If you notice the hoops in the background, he had built the connectors for the hoops and
those
the power.
are pretty cool looking. The lights, the way they were flashing through them. Oh my gosh!
I love that. We're gonna get with Chris, I think, eventually here on the show and talk to him too about his 3D world. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about yours as well. But good stuff there. And I guess that makes as good a segue as what I really want to talk about, because last week I talked to Justin. And Justin and I, talked about everything we had done with the Winter Fly-In, but really, and B-Rad was as much a part of it as Justin and I. We were the three amigos who put that thing together. And unfortunately, we couldn't have all three of us on the show that day. It was actually snowing that day.
That day was pretty messy.
So today we got B-Rad. Tell us about what you thought of the show.
Well, I went into this, got a little nervous when you asked me about being part of this whole thing, and we started building out all these gates and things for the competition and all that. But I really just got into it with you, and so the camaraderie and the teamwork and everything, putting this stuff together, it all came together well. We had to put it out quick. We had to bring it back quick, and that's some of the video probably shows that. But I just really enjoyed working with you and Justin and all the other people that were involved there. It was really good.
It was a good time, and I really am proud of what we did, honestly. In short order, we did it. Not only just short order to get the stuff on the field. We talked about that. They only had a very tight 3-hour window, and we could only rush on the field once the other players got off. But really, the time we decided to do this, just a month or maybe a month and a half beforehand, it was kind of just a crazy whim idea on a napkin, right?
It was.
And then we just got busy and we got it done.
It was a lot of work, but we got it done. It was a great teamwork.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I've added this to my website as a drone experience now. Finally, I looked at this thing and I said, this is really a good idea. Maybe we can do this for corporate. So it's now on iFly Drones. If you want to go out there, you can see it. We're going to have some pricing. If you'd like for us to come to your location and do something like this for schools and things like that, we're now kind of prepared with package pricing to do that. So I can't wait for that. And again, thank you so much. And I've already had interest in coming back to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably for a summertime thing. We'll do some other fly-ins, which is one of the reasons B-Rad is on this show, is because he is the king of the fly-ins. And so before we get to talking about your next fly-in, let's talk about some of the products you've been producing, because one of these was such an important part of the winter fly-in. And I just have to point this out real quick. We had 4 Neos, and we had to figure out some way to separate them, and you did this, right?
So it's not my design, but you can find these online. They're readily available for download. But I found that, and we talked about this, having to be able to identify these separately, we were going to have 3 or 4 of them around. So I found this particular design of the bumper, and then I just did it in different colors. We got orange, yellow, red, white. So anyway, it just kept these separated, and we could keep track of them.
Right.
Yeah,
and I even colored to go. The controllers, most of the controllers we're using were very similar controllers. So in order to determine which controller went with which Neo, we color coded these as well, and it fit really well into the program. We don't have the blue. I think it was one of my Neos up on the shelf, but it worked out really well, and I appreciate your expertise. And you might notice, I got to point this one right out. I just dropped this into this thing. This was an idea. Literally, we were out we were doing some mapping.
Yeah, we were sitting out in Chesapeake 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And I was trying to, like when you're mapping, you're kind of up there a little long. You're trying to figure out what to do with your controller while you wait for the thing to come back. Because you don't have to control it, right? It's already autonomously run. And I was trying to make my controller sit properly. And, of course, B-Rad says, I think I could print something like that. And look at this. I mean, a few days later, this is the great part about you. Is you give, he came up and found this idea, but he's already done some changes, right?
Mm-hmm,
Tell me what you did there.
Little modifications. Well, so it's at a certain angle, and we needed a little bit more of an angle, so I played with that some. Also, the controllers are a little bit different in sizes, so we're going to make some more modifications to accommodate that. But I'm going to try to come up with an idea of see if I can make it so we can change the angle on the fly. So that's to be determined here later. We're going to work on that in the future.
But a wonderful idea. If you still got to keep your eye on the drone, but you don't have to hold it if you got something that'll hold it for you. And I think we had this concept, and we'll see how it turns out. But I'd love to see a connector here that I could put it onto like a mic stand or maybe a tripod stand, like a lighting stand.
We can do that.
And then I could have it kind of independently hanging in front of me without even having to set it on the car or somewhere else.
I have a lot of ideas to take it a few more steps further than even that, but we'll talk about that in the future.
Of course you do. Just show us some of the other stuff you created.
Most of this I've created. One of the biggest things, Gary and I were talking about, I think, tow hitch receivers at one point, and maybe because I brought it up, and I thought about doing some type of tow hitch receiver as identifier for Gary's logo. And so I took his logo, kind of unbeknownst to him. I don't think I told you about it.
It was a surprise.
And I brought it in as a surprise. So I created this from ideas from off the internet, of course. And I had a few little liberties there, and I put that into this. So then I took it a step further, and he said something about a drone. So we have this now.
Right.
And it started square, but we have two different designs. So I made this.
And the cutout really is cool. It really looks like kind of like a drone, very identifiable on your vehicle as you drive up to
And it protects you from other cars, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a feeler if you need it to be. Mine touched another car and took the brunt of a hit instead of either car, but it gave its life for the good.
It was good.
But the best thing about it, he printed me another one, and that's the coolest. I love that about 3D. It's like the replicator on Star Trek. We talked about that. You think of something,
I love it.
Boom. There it is.
Well, another just quickly, I've done coasters, plastic coasters. This one I did with his logo as well. That was another surprise.
Yeah.
Just kind of pulled his logo in and made a coaster out of it for him, and a whole set at that. And
you did the ones here for Minefield?
I went to Minefield event in Tennessee last year with a gentleman we know as Ken Herron. Some of you might know him.
Right.
And I created this one off of the logo that he had for the event. So we had sets of those.
But I'm most excited about this one.
So Gary and I've been on these, these missions, these event, jobs, and he's always throwing out the pad, the helipad kind of thing.
Right.
And it's the drone launch or launch pad. So I went ahead and designed one off of one of those, and it turned out like this. So it just looks like a little miniature.
But we made it one slight change.
I did.
Instead of saying drone launch pad, it says drink launch
That's
pad.
right. That was a cool idea.
Yeah, that's a cool bar thing for you droners out there like ourselves.
Right.
Why not? Take off.
Yeah, that's right. So quickly, I'll finish up. I do cork coasters as well. Last year's South Florida Drone Meetup event, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, I did a square coaster and designed that. This year, there's a new design coming. I'm still working. That's being worked on right now. Beautiful. And then I wanted some some safety cones, excuse me.
Right.
And they're a little expensive. It depends on what you want. So I went online and kind of did some research, and I found something more like this. But 3D printing that is a little difficult. It can be done, but
and it comes apart, right?
Yep, it slides right apart. So I made two pieces that made up.
Stores flat. Okay, I love that. And keep them in your car. But when we go do these construction sites, we always put up some cones.
Yeah,
There's always got to be some cones, and that's good.
And I added a few little reflectors, as you can see here. I have a little miniature version that I made just as a trial, and it sits on the desk.
That's
it looks kind of
G.I. Joe version.
That's right. That's the G.I. Joe. So that's it. Yeah, 3D printing. printing, and this is evolving. And these things, you'll be able to find some of these things or a lot of these things on iFly Drones website very, very soon. This is already on the website, so go check that out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we hope to have them on the store, any of this stuff in the store. But if you don't find it in the store, especially if you look the next week or two and I haven't gotten some of these things up, just call Brad. His number's going to be right here below. Give him a call and send him an email, and he'll get this stuff to you because he's very reasonably priced. Yeah, I love it. That's the problem. We talked about this real quick, and I won't take up too much time. But it used to be the 3D printing was so special, you could make a little money off of them. Now, because there's so many guys out there printing, and the Chinese have taken and printed. They have these printing farms, and the price that you could make at one time has really fallen. But guys, when you see he's putting something special together, I think the prices that we're asking are very, very fair. So take a look, and hopefully you'll buy some stuff from us and help us out here.
And I will say that there's opportunity if you're looking for something different than what's on these tow hitch covers, for instance. I can work with you and come up with the design pretty quickly.
Custom.
And have your prototype, if you will, in days in some cases.
Yeah.
So just let me know. Again, the phone number and my email address will be down below.
Yeah, and you might have noticed even the microphone in the interview with Stan, that was a 3D printed microphone that held the DJI lapel microphone inside of itself, so it looked like a handheld.
It did.
Another wonderful
That was
job.
another one of my prints.
Yeah, I love
so that was cool. I love 3D printing, if you can't tell.
So you held this up a minute ago,
Yep.
and this says on it, you can see this on here, this is the upcoming event, South Florida Drone Meetup. Tell us about this.
So this all started back in 2021 with a gentleman by the name of Ray Kelly, Captain Ray Kelly. He's a snowbird. He lives in New York, lives in Florida. And we had
Nice guy. I've listened to him on the show, seen you on the show, but he's just a nice guy. If you have not watched the show, we'll put that address here too. Go check him out. He's really nice.
He's a great guy, and he's huge in the community. Everybody knows him. He's a celebrity. He goes to a lot of secret spots in Florida, which are not secret anymore. It's a funny joke everybody has. So anyway, we started talking about this drone event, and it was going to be a dozen people or so the first year. It ended up being 35, 40, maybe more. Then it's grown over the years. We are now doing the 5th annual in Jensen Beach, Florida. We've done it 4 years in a row. This will be the 4th year there. We had the first one up near Palm Beach, Palm Bay, the first time. But I've created coasters. So what I do is my give back to the community is cork coasters and lanyards badges. The lanyards are usually provided by like Pilot Institute here lately, and we've had a few other sponsors as well. But I usually create these, and you'll see that. This was last year's, and we use the logo of the event during the time, and I have a new logo that I'm going to be using, if not create something else. But it's coming April 4th through April 7th. It's coming really fast, so I've got a lot of work to do.
And that's what's neat about this. It's not like one day. We did a thing for 3 hours the other day, right? You guys do what, 3 days, right?
We do 3 days worth. Yeah, it begins on a social on a Friday night. One of the drone guys manages a pool hall, bar / bowling alley. It's a billiard hall.
He owns a place to kind of like stand on.
He manages it. And so we all go there and meet for the social on Friday night. Saturday's the big event. We have a lot of sponsors. We give away almost everybody that comes, and this year will probably be over 150 people. Last year was about 150, 140, 150. But every year there's so many sponsors, you will leave with something. T-shirts, hats, drones, accessories, there's just so much stuff, and it's a free event.
Free, and there's still room for more people, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, absolutely.
And it's South Florida Drone Meetup, and we'll have the link
Yep, link right here, so you can get in touch with Captain Kelly, right?
Yep, Captain Ray Kelly.
He'll put you on the list,
and it's free to sign up. He just puts your name on the list, and then I'll end up creating a lanyard for you, and with your name on it. And if I don't get your name on it, we'll have blanks there to write it.
Yep.
So it's a big event. I look forward to it every year. It's a big social event. Now there'll be drones flying, mostly camera drones, but there'll be FPV guys there flying their fast, 100-mile-an-hour drones, but in a safe way. It's on an intercoastal waterway, Jensen Beach, Florida.
Nice. I look forward. I might try to get down there. I know you're going for a whole week. 'Cause you're making a vacation.
I'm actually going to be in Florida 2 weeks almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I can get down there for a day or two, that would be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. We'll show you around. I definitely will do that.
It looks cool, and yeah, we got to thank Captain Kelly for all the work he does to make this happen.
Absolutely.
And then there's you've got a committee, right?
Yeah, I'm on the committee it's called the South Florida Drone Meetup Committee. So I'm with 4, 5, 6 of us, and we have people in and out that help from time to time. But I've been on it ever since day one, and that goes for almost all the events I go to. I do something behind the scenes, so I really enjoy doing that.
That's awesome. And that, again, the reason I have brought B-Rad to my world is I said, this guy, he's a pro. He already knows this stuff inside and out. Now, we're going to throw more events here and around Virginia, and we've got, a guy who's got a lot of experience already around the country in these events. So we were so glad to have you.
I appreciate you having me.
So, that's about it for the day. I want to take just 1 second and just throw something out that it's almost a commentary. This is just directly from me, is that we, through our event, the Winter Fly-In, and we really hope to get involved some of the high schools, local high schools from City of Richmond, County of Henrico, and Chesterfield. And I reached out to them a number of times, and the sad thing was, we got no responses back. We threw, I think, a great STEM style of event, and I just don't know exactly. I know that some people came from Stewart School. We were really proud that they came out, and it's just kind of unfortunate. This is a community of drone people who really want to give, and there were great people there to provide information. Prack was there showing his repair stuff. All of that seemingly would have been an absolute treasure chest of information for kids involved or wanting to be involved in the world of drones, which is what we're trying to offer. And we got none. We really didn't get any respect from the local community, from the schools. And I just want to, take this moment and say, we'd like to change that. And if you can help us, if you know a way to change that, or if you're one of those people out there that I reached out to and you didn't even take the time to write back to me, shame on you. And it's just a missed opportunity. And I hope it doesn't happen again, because we're going to continue to offer this. We just want you to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Yep, I agree.
Well, that's my personal commentary, not his opinion. This is my opinion. But thank you for listening. And I guess this is going to do it for a show. And, do you know of anything, what do we got coming up besides South Florida? We got
South Florida, no, not other than my next event might be Minefield again in August range, somewhere in there. But there might be some other things in between that.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
We'll do some shows. If you've got an event, please let us know.
Please.
Make sure you get in touch with Stan down there or up there in Stafford from here about his Sunday events. I think he does it every Sunday. If he doesn't, you have his information. Give him a call, see when he's going to do it again, and you can join him for the mini whoop in at the brewery, at the Adventure Brewery. So do that. But again, thanks for joining us today on Points of Interest. We'll see you next time. Fly safe.
Fly safe. Bye-bye.